The early morning atmosphere inside the United States Air Force Fighter Squadron building was filled with tension, urgency, and disciplined focus as multiple F-16 Fighting Falcon pilots prepared for a rapid response combat training mission. Inside the briefing rooms, pilots organized flight gear while reviewing updated mission details displayed on digital briefing screens mounted across the walls. Aviators adjusted G-suits, survival vests, oxygen connections, and communication equipment while discussing weather conditions, emergency procedures, and formation assignments. The sound of boots crossing the floor mixed with radio chatter and the distant roar of aircraft engines already warming outside on the airfield. Every pilot understood the importance of timing, coordination, and precision before stepping toward the fighter jets waiting beyond the hardened shelters. While the pilots continued their preparations, maintenance crews on the flight line were already working intensively around the parked F-16 fighters beneath the morning sunlight. Crew chiefs, avionics specialists, engine technicians, and weapons personnel moved rapidly between aircraft carrying tools, diagnostic devices, and inspection checklists. Ground crews carefully examined radar systems, landing gear assemblies, hydraulic lines, fuel systems, and control surfaces to ensure every component functioned properly before takeoff. Flashlights illuminated internal panels, while technicians monitored digital readouts connected directly to the aircraft. The atmosphere across the ramp reflected the relentless operational tempo of a frontline combat aviation unit preparing for immediate launch readiness. Several maintenance specialists climbed ladders, positioned beside the fighters to perform final cockpit and avionics inspections. Engineers checked navigation displays, targeting systems, flight computers, and electronic warfare equipment, while another team inspected the powerful jet engines for any signs of mechanical irregularities. Nearby, fuel crews coordinated refueling operations while hydraulic technicians monitored pressure levels inside aircraft systems. The roar of auxiliary power units echoed across the concrete flight line as mechanics communicated through headsets and practiced hand signals perfected through years of experience in noisy operational environments. Despite the pressure of time, every movement remained highly organized because even the smallest technical issue could affect mission performance once airborne. After receiving authorization from squadron leadership, the fighter pilots exited the preparation building and stepped onto the airfield with determination visible in every movement. Wearing full flight gear beneath the bright morning light, the pilots walked together across the flight line carrying helmets and survival equipment toward the row of armed F-16 Fighting Falcons waiting nearby. Ground crews standing beside the aircraft exchanged final operational updates with the pilots before saluting them as they approached their assigned jets. The atmosphere surrounding the runway reflected the professionalism and intensity of a United States Air Force combat aviation operation, preparing for immediate high-speed departure. As the pilots reached their aircraft, crew chiefs quickly provided reports regarding fuel conditions, communication systems, and final maintenance confirmations. One by one, the pilots climbed the boarding ladders and lowered themselves into the narrow cockpits of the fighters. Once seated, the aviators immediately began reviewing cockpit instruments, navigation systems, radar displays, engine controls, and weapons management panels positioned around them. The cockpit interior glowed with digital displays and illuminated switches while pilots secured harnesses and connected oxygen masks to onboard systems. Every checklist item was reviewed repeatedly because fighter operations demand complete precision before departure. Moments later, the first F-16 engine ignited with a deep mechanical roar that vibrated across the entire airbase. One after another, the remaining fighters powered up, producing waves of heat and exhaust behind the aircraft as turbines accelerated toward operational levels. The combined sound of multiple jet engines echoed across nearby hangars and maintenance shelters. Inside the cockpit, pilots carefully monitored engine temperatures, fuel flow indicators, flight control systems, communication channels, radar operation, and warning displays while coordinating with the control tower through secure radio frequencies. The growing intensity of the launch sequence created a dramatic atmosphere as the squadron transitioned from ground preparation into active flight operations. With all systems confirmed operational, the pilots released parking brakes and slowly began taxiing the F-16 fighters toward the active runway. The formation moved steadily across the airfield in perfect spacing while navigation lights flashed against the concrete taxiways beneath the rising sunlight. Ground crews watched carefully from the edges of the ramp while offering final salutes to the departing pilots and aircraft. The immense sound of jet engines continued shaking the airfield as the fighters rolled closer toward the runway threshold where departure procedures would take place. Even during taxi operations, pilots remained intensely focused while monitoring instruments and communicating with air traffic controllers. After arriving near the runway threshold, the pilots conducted one final series of operational checks before takeoff clearance was granted. Oxygen systems, emergency controls, targeting computers, navigation equipment, radar functions, and flight instruments were inspected carefully to ensure every aircraft remained fully mission capable. The lead pilot communicated directly with the control tower, while the remaining aircraft maintained exact positioning behind him. Inside the cockpit, pilots tightened their gloves around the flight controls while mentally preparing for the powerful acceleration that would follow within seconds. The atmosphere during those final moments before launch was filled with concentration and anticipation. Suddenly, the lead F-16 accelerated forward with tremendous force as afterburners ignited and flames shimmered from the rear exhaust nozzle. Within seconds, the remaining fighter jets surged down the runway behind it at full military power, generating intense heat distortion across the airfield surface. The aircraft rapidly gained speed while pilots maintained perfect alignment during the high-speed takeoff roll. Tires thundered against the runway before the fighters lifted into the air one after another and climbed sharply toward the clouds. The sight of multiple F-16s launching at maximum speed created an extraordinary display of aerial power and precision, while the deafening roar of jet engines echoed far beyond the base. Once airborne, the fighter pilots continued climbing aggressively toward operational altitude while maintaining radio coordination and tactical spacing between aircraft. From inside the cockpit, the pilots could see endless layers of clouds stretching across the horizon, while sunlight reflected brightly across the canopy glass surrounding them. Nearby F-16 fighters appeared in close formation as they maneuvered smoothly through the sky with remarkable precision. Pilots carefully monitored altitude, airspeed, navigation data, and fuel consumption while adjusting formation positions according to mission requirements. The aerial perspective from inside the cockpit provided a dramatic view of both the surrounding landscape and the powerful fighter formation moving together at high speed through the atmosphere. As the mission progressed, the formation flight demonstrated the extraordinary skill, discipline, and coordination required of United States Air Force fighter pilots operating advanced combat aircraft. From the cockpit perspective, neighboring F-16 fighters appeared incredibly close while maintaining exact tactical spacing measured with extreme precision. Pilots remained in constant communication through secure radio systems while monitoring radar contacts, heading changes, and formation alignment during flight. Every movement required complete concentration because even small corrections at high speed could significantly affect the overall positioning of the formation. The operation highlighted not only advanced pilot training, but also the immense trust shared between aircrews flying side by side, thousands of feet above the Earth. As the high-speed formation continued across the sky, the fighter pilots remained fully alert while scanning surrounding airspace and continuously monitoring cockpit instruments glowing before them. The mission represented the combined efforts of pilots, maintenance crews, engineers, and support personnel who worked together to ensure the operation unfolded flawlessly from beginning to end. Inside the cockpit, the view of multiple F-16 Fighting Falcons flying in perfect synchronization beneath the bright sunlight created a breathtaking display of aerial military power. The mission ultimately showcased the remarkable capabilities of the F-16 fighter aircraft, as well as the professionalism, discipline, and dedication of United States Air Force personnel responsible for executing rapid response combat aviation operations at the highest level of readiness.